In this video, we will understand how to use test assertions with TestCafe, how the Smart Assertion mechanism works, and the basic structure to start working with this API in your tests. Hi there, owls! Welcome back to Young Media, the channel where you can learn about software automation, technology in general, and marketing. Today we're gonna cover a very interesting topic. We're going to see how to use the Assertions API offered by TestCafe. Alright? An assertion is an expression which encapsulates some testable logic to see if the actual value is matching the expected value. With simple words, right? We can use assertions to check if the tested page's state matches the expected state. TestCafe provides a comprehensive set of assertions that are based on the BDD style or behavioral driven development style. The basic structure is using a wait, as always, at the beginning of the line, then reference the test controller with the word T, then we call the method .expect and to set the expected value to be compared, and then we have to call the .equal method over here to set the expected result. As you can see, we have other options over here, and we're gonna cover them in a practical example in a few minutes. All right, so I guess that as you can see also here in this website, we can see a list of assertions variations actually that we have available. We are not going to check all of them, but I think that we can take a look of some examples to have a kind of basic understanding, and then you just have to come here and look for the best options regarding your needs. You're gonna have the basics to just come here and apply what you need. All right, that's amazing, right? In this website also mention something very interesting, which is the Smart Assertion Query Mechanism. All right, basically the article says that in synchronous functional testing we can execute assertions immediately, and an action, or actually a test action, occurs. It means that if we click on some element and we set the test assertion, it would have happened immediately after the click action succeed. If we need to wait for a few seconds until the element charges, we need to set an explicit wait method to wait for a certain amount of time, right? However, with this smart assertion, we can cover, or actually try to avoid that. Functional tests are asynchronous on the web. We cannot expect to have changes immediately after a user action. For example, after checking a button and it redirects to another page, we may have to wait until it is totally loaded, right? And there it is the moment when the Smart Assertion Query Mechanisms come to play. If an assertion didn't pass, yes, the test doesn't fail immediately. The test assertion retries to pass multiple times, and each time it requests the actual property value. Using these mechanism, actually the test fails if the assertion couldn't complete successfully within a timeout. So with this mechanism, TestCafe tries to offer us a solution to have stable tests with improved runtime performance, and also it tries to reduce the risk of errors. So we have here some kind of graphics of how that Smart Assertion Query Mechanism works, right? So it is something very interesting that we have to actually have in mind. And once we have seen this, it is also important to say that Smart Assertion has some limitations. For instance, promises returned from client functions or selector properties. It is something to have in mind, but with this, I guess that we have covered all the theory we needed to know and understand to start working on practical examples. I just want to let you know that, or actually remember, that if you are looking this video very interesting and helpful, please subscribe, let a like, let a comment below to motivate me. Let me know if you have some kind of question or something like that, and I will be more than glad to answer to that question if it is in my hands. All right, thank you very much again, and let's continue with the practical examples. All the code you will see in this video is saved on a personal repository in Bitbucket. You can click on the link at the description below of this video. If you want to clone it, you are free to do it, and please just go ahead and do it. Alright, under the test folder, the tests folder, actually we have a new folder named Assertion API, alright? And inside of it, we have a JS file named assertion.js with a fixture named Assertion API. So once we have cleared the path where the test is located, I just want to let you know that we're gonna be using this website, demoqa.com/elements again. This is a site that we were using at the beginning of this series of videos, and this is the website, tools QA. All right, amazing. So and as you can see in the screen actually, we will have different tests trying some of the assertion types that TestCafe offers actually. For example, we're gonna take a look of how the deep equal works, how not deep equals work, okay, not okay, and contains. All right, there are a part of the list of assertions that we have over here. Let me show you: deep equal, not deep equal, okay, not okay, and contains. All of the rest are basically the same. You just have to go ahead and look at the specifications, but it is pretty the same. You just have to have in mind how it works, and you can apply these concepts in your daily work. So let's continue. Let's take a look at the first one, named deep equal, over here. So with my own words, this type of assertion is useful to compare values, all right, no matter what data type is or other factors that we might have in mind. For example, I give you a practical example to have in context. The idea of this simple example is to count how many elements are in the website, all right, having one selector in a scope. So if we take a look at the selector header dash wrapper, I'll let you show you in the website. This selector is referencing the drop-down items at the website. All right. In this particular case, we have 6 items, as you can see, with these selectors. All right. It is referencing the drop-downs items basically. So in code terms, all right, we're going to follow the structure that we covered previously. We will look for the selector, and then we're going to use that count method to get the amount of elements with that selector in the website. How to handle selectors and methods like count are something we have reviewed in previous videos actually. So please go ahead and take a look of them in the playlist of TestCafe tutorial for beginners. All right. So once we set the expect method over here, we're gonna count how many elements are in scope using the .header dash wrapper selector. It is gonna return 6, right? It is actually 6 elements rendered in the website over here, and it is gonna be returned and set to be the actual value, the expect value. All right, amazing. So once I get the number, I'm going to use the equal method, all right, to compare the number we've got with the expected value, all right, which is in this particular case should be 6. I'm gonna fail the test assertion just to show you how it actually behaves when something fails, and it is gonna be a very good example to show you how it works, right? And in this test, we also use some other options that we can include in assertions. All right, I have specified the message accordion items count in case the test assertion fails, and also I am capable to set an personalized timeout the amount of milliseconds you want to wait until a test assertion fails. So if you want to come here and write down this amount of milliseconds, you can go ahead and do it. And that's it. There are other options, but this is the basic structure of how an assertion can work. And I think that it is a good basic understanding of that. We also have the opposite method of equal, which is not deep equal. It works in the same way deep equal does. However, with this method, as the name references, it basically checks if it is not deep equal. So in this case, I'm gonna look for the same selector. I'm gonna look for header wrapper. I'm gonna count them, and for sure it will be 6 of them. There will be 6 of them, right? And I'm gonna look to validate that it is not equal to 5. In this particular case, the assertion should pass, since 5 it is not gonna be equal than 6, so it is gonna be fine. The assertion will be returned a positive result. In this particular case with equal, we should be getting 6 as expected result, since it should be the same or actually the equal result, right? So let's go ahead and understand how they work. Let's run this. In the package.json, we have a script where you can just run it, and I'm just gonna cover again the basic structure of this script. I'm gonna start the sentence with the TestCafe word. Once it is done, I'm gonna click or actually write down the web browser you wanna use. In this case, I'm gonna use Chrome, and then I am gonna specify the path where the JS file is allowed or actually located. And in this case is tests assertions assertion API, and then I have the JS file over here. So that's it. I'm gonna just run the first example. Let me see if the tests are not skipped. As you can see, they are skipped. And I'm just gonna allow them to be run. All right, so once this is done, I'm gonna come here to the terminal over here. Let me see, where was it? Actually here. I'm gonna click on this, and after that I'm gonna click on terminal, and then in the terminal I'm gonna write down and run the npm run and the script name test assertions, like this one over here. This is something that we have covered in previous videos. If you want to see how we can install and how everything works in TestCafe, you can see the introduction of this technology in a previous video in this channel. So let's go ahead and run this. It should fails on the first assertion, since we are expecting to have 5 elements, and it is going to return 6. And also we should get a positive assertion in the second test, right? So let's see the console log. As you can see, the first assertion says that it is not equal, basically. The actual result is 6, but the expected is 5. It is totally expected, right? We just have to come here and change the expected value. All right, and as you can see, it says the text that we have defined, just to have a kind of guideline, and that's it. Basically, how is an assertion failure is displayed in console log. And then we have the other case, the not deep equal. The not deep equal is actually working fine. 6 is not equal to 5, so the assertion is passed. So basically that's how it works. Let me show you how since I fixed this, it should be working fine in both tests, right? Now we should have 2 assertions with passed state. That's it. As you can see, there is no errors anymore, and everything is working fine and happily. So that's how the deep equal methods work, and not deep equal, and that's something that very interesting and something that you needed to know to start working with the API the Test Assertion API. So let's continue. Let's now take a look of the OK assertion. All right, it is something a bit different, but with the same purpose. Just let me skip these tests. Right, and then I'm gonna open up the OK test cases. In my opinion, the OK assertion is used to compare Boolean values, alright? If you want to validate if the expected and actual results are true or false, depending on your needs, alright? Let's try to give you a kind of more context, and you will see that this is very easy, alright? If we take a look at this next step, test, I'm loading again the URL demo QA, alright? Let me just open this in my browser. All right, and basically there are no buttons and stuff available to be clicked. There are just drop down elements that are displayed in the website, right? However, the test, the flow test, or I don't know, the structure of this example test will be to click on the first element of text box. All right, that's what the first test is gonna do. It is going to look for this selector. I'm gonna show you the result in the DevTools. And if you take a look of it, the item 0 is referencing the text box. So once the website is loaded, let me just open again the website. We're going to come here and click on text box. All right, once this is done, the submit button is present. All right, so we're gonna look for that specific button, which has an ID submit, and it exists, right? So using the DOM node state methods, we can return a true value or a false value depending on the existence of this element in the DOM. All right. So if you notice, if we open up again the website and we look for the submit button, it is not even present. There is no trace of a submit button unless I click on the text button, right? Unless I click on the text box, right? So that's it. Basically, that's the idea of this script. So if you see at the structure of this test, we're gonna look for the selector over here and we're gonna get the state. It is gonna return true in case the element exists, or it is gonna return false in case it is not present at the DOM. In this case, as you probably understand, it is gonna be present since I'm clicking at the text box drop down item over here, right? So it should return true, and using the .ok method will validate that the result received is true. All right, that's basically what or how the OK method works. However, let me show you the opposite method. Basically, if we do not click on the drop down item, the submit button, it is not gonna be present, right? That's pretty obvious. There is a way to validate that the button doesn't exist. So we're gonna do the same strategy. We're gonna click, or actually we're not gonna click, and we're just gonna verify the existence of the submit button. It is gonna return false, but in this particular case we're gonna use the not okay method, so the test assertion will pass. Since this is the expected result, the button should not be at the DOM, since we haven't clicked on the item, right? So there are two scenarios, actually example scenarios. This is just a kind of demo for you to understand. So I'm just gonna delete this keep word over here to run the methods. run the test, right? The fixture. So let's go ahead and run this. So both assertions should pass, actually, right? Yes, the first one passed, there was no error, and as you see over here, well, it is actually working fine. The flow is working as expected, and there are two scenarios for you to see how this okay and not okay methods work in the assertion API of TestCafe. So that's it. Let's continue with the next one. And last but not least, we have a final example of how the contains assertion works. Alright, what we're going to do in this test is validate that the URL we are loading at the beginning of each test is the expected one, right? Obviously, it will be the same. There is no sense of this test, but you can take the idea to apply this kind of assertion in your daily scenarios. For example, after you click on a text link or a button, for example, and you want to validate the redirect function and actually is loading the correct website and the correct URL, right? So using a client function, which I know is something that we haven't seen yet, but we will. We're going to get the href at the document location. Using this function, we're gonna get the URL present at here, and at this space, we're gonna get the URL loaded, basically. And so using the same structure, we have the same structure actually. We're going to put the actual value, which is gonna be the get location function over here. It is gonna be returning the URL loaded using this client function. I know it's something that we haven't seen yet, but we will. And we're gonna just compare that the URL is the correct one. So over here, we're just gonna cover this. We're gonna run this, and we will see that it will pass. All right. It is so basically the contains assertion is to see if the text you want as expected value is contained in the actual value. All right, so that's how it works. It's very easy, it's very simple, but it is something that I wanted to show you, and something that I hope that you understand. So I guess that's it. That's the video of test assertion with TestCafe. We have covered what is a test assertion. We have seen different scenarios, and I guess that there are more of this that we can cover in future videos. For example, how to handle soft assertions in TestCafe. There is a workaround that I found with my experience, and we can cover all of that topics in a future video if you want. Please let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have some kind of doubt. I really appreciate it. I know that maybe there are some tricky explanation topics over here, and I may I don't know, maybe I didn't explain correctly, but I will be more than glad to explain again in comments if it is necessary. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for subscribe to Young Media. It is a pleasure. I hope that you can join this OWL community that I am forming, that it has been creating with all of you. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much again, and see you soon. Goodbye.